Hello, fans, and welcome into another episode of A Walk with the Warhawks. As always, today's show is presented by Raising Cane's, located on South Clark Street, right here in South Abilene. Don't forget to stop by and get some chicken at Raising Cane's. So obviously, we're not walking today. We're at our desk chairs, and we're having a roundtable discussion, but it's National Athletic Training Month, so we got to give some recognition where recognition is due. These guys deserve a whole year, but they're getting a month anyway. The athletic trainers here at McMurry University, introducing Sean East, Alli, Eggena, and Kelly Krivulka. All three of you, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right. Well, first of all, Alli, let's clear this up because I know a lot of people try to pronounce your name. Sometimes they mispronounce it, but reveal that for us right now. How do you say your last name?
It's Eggena.
Eggena. Okay. That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was close.
You're
Kelly,
a lot
and yours
closer than most people are.
What's that?
You're a lot closer than most people are.
All right. And Kelly, yours is easy, but clear yours up too.
Mine's easy. Yeah, it's Krivulka.
Krivulka.
Yep.
All right. Sean, how do you pronounce your last name?
Oh, it's the direction. It's east.
Just the direction. East.
Just the direction.
Not east.
Nope. I've tried it. It's not it.
All right. Very good. Well, it doesn't matter how you say your names, but you guys obviously have a big impact on this campus, and people know who you are. They know your faces, and they see you at all these events, and you guys work very hard as a group. But Alli, we'll start with you since you've kind of been here the longest now out of the athletic training staff. Talk about what it was like for you to get here to McMurry, because you started at ACU, so you've been in Abilene, but you're not from this area, but obviously your career's brought you here. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, I'm originally from Illinois, about halfway between St. Louis and Chicago. Ended up coming down here after undergrad and started at ACU, working with volleyball and beach volleyball there. And then, come time to look for a full-time position, and I ended up at McMurry, and it's been a good fit. I like the size of the school and, how close the, department is in general, just because we're all right here and we can kind of be, around all the time and get to know everybody.
That's awesome. And obviously you've had an impact in your 2 years. You've already gotten to cover a national championship as you went with the team last year. And you have a lot of good programs. Sean, let's go to you next. As you and Kelly came in at the same time, it looks like you're over at the baseball training room. I see all the stuff back there that you have to deal with, some crutches. Hopefully nobody uses those anytime soon. But just talk about your experience.
So I'm actually from Oklahoma, and I really loved working in smaller schools. I worked at a Division II as a GA before this in Oklahoma, but I kind of wanted to have a change of scenery. My brother was like, why don't you go look at Texas? So I went to Indeed and typed in Texas and was just looking at their jobs, and I found McMurry, and I like it. It's a great fit, just like Alli was saying, the small, pretty much the smaller department, so you always know each other. It's always nice to know the staff really well before you actually get here and working, and you can always hang out with them and stuff like that.
Very good. Yeah. And obviously it's been an easy transition from Oklahoma to Texas, not too far, but you fit in right away, it seems like. So it's been very good. All right. And then Kelly, you already had ties to Texas when you got here, but you were coming from California, did some time at UCLA, but talk about your experience and what brought you to McMurry and, just what it's been like to be here.
Yeah, so I'm from California, like Mike said, and when I was in grad school in Arizona, my parents moved to Texas, and my sister had moved 2 years prior. So I thought Texas would be my best option moving forward, finding a real job. So I looked at Texas. Wanted to be close to my parents, but not too close. So McMurry was just far enough away. And what really drew me to McMurry was, like Alli and Sean said, like the close-knit, kind of smaller community where everyone knows everyone.
That's exactly what the culture is. And everybody knows who you guys are now. It seems like, as we said earlier, you guys have really been involved on campus since you've arrived. But let's go even further back than that for all of you. What originally got you into athletic training? Alli, we'll start with you. Just what was the initial moment that you knew I'm going to be an athletic trainer one day?
So I always knew that I wanted to be in, some form of medicine somewhere. And being an athlete growing up, I knew I kind of wanted to stay around sports. And so once, I kind of saw this profession and learned what it was, really kind of drew me to it, because you're in a unique position to really get to know your patients before anything happens and build those relationships while they're healthy. And it helps you through that whole process of, rehabbing them back, and makes it more rewarding to me that, you've already got those relationships built up with these kids, and then you get to help them through all these things. So.
Very well said. All right, Sean, same question.
So mine's a little different. So I was born with a heart condition, so I wasn't able to play sports, but I always loved sports. Once it got too competitive, my doctor was like, yeah, you can't play anymore. So I always wanted to do the medical side because of all the experiences I had with having heart surgeries and all that fun stuff. But after that, I knew I wanted to do medical, and I love sports. So athletic training was able to kind of combine both of them. But also then my dad kind of got me into it because he knew I was a shy kid in high school. So he was like, you need to do something. So I was into high school athletic training there, fell in love with it, enjoyed it. Then I decided, yeah, this is kind of what I want to do. You get to be around athletes. You get to be at all the practices, all the games, all the fun stuff, but also kind of work on the medical side like I talked about.
Awesome. That's a interesting way to get into it, man, and very inspiring. And then Kelly.
Yeah, mine is a little different than Sean's. I was not born with a heart condition. But when I was in high school, I played volleyball, and my best friend had dislocated her patella when we were warming up together. So I ran and got my athletic trainer, and in high school, I was the youngest person in our high school sports medicine class. And then throughout high school and college, I've had really inspirational female athletic trainers in my life that I've known and worked with that kind of just made me choose that path.
Very good. And obviously it seems like it's been very rewarding. And I think, people in my field as sports information directors kind of get into it for the same reason, because we all have a passion for athletics. But I think obviously you guys can relate, and I think Alli's already kind of answered this, but would you agree that the most rewarding part of being an athletic trainer is just building relationships with these athletes and kind of seeing them through college and just helping them in those situations? Or how would you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. And we really get to see, the full picture when something does happen. You're able to know them beforehand and really get to see the whole process through, even more so than like other fields, just because we're right there on the sideline and we can see them progressing back, and we can help them safely, get back into what they love doing. So
I just think it's rewarding because you get all the ups and downs every day. Something that might be considered a season-ending injury, the next season you get to send them back and see them succeed in their sport again, really get them at their highest high when you saw them at their lowest low. And I think that's just the best.
Wow. That's very poetically said there. Sean, anything you'd like to add to that?
I pretty much agree. I mean, you're always around them, so you get that relationships building. The biggest part of the athletic training and with the athletes is they have to have trust in you, and always being around them helps build that trust with the athlete, so they can come to you with really anything, even if it's like, hey, like my boyfriend and I broke up, or girlfriend and I broke up, something like that. They can always come to you and talk to you about stuff like that, because if they trust you, then they'll come and talk to you, instead of if they don't, you won't know.
You end up with a lot of other things that you get pulled into or get to help them work through, just because you already have that relationship built up.
It's not just athletic stuff that we see.
Yep. So you are kind of the front porch for a lot of things. And like you said, Sean, I think you said it best there, talking about how sometimes they come to you about other aspects of their life, and you can really check in on them. And then in turn, if they do have a physical issue, they'll come to you, and that's a good thing. All right. Well, you guys are doing great work, and I know you guys are super busy, so I'm not going to keep you long, but I do have some rapid fire questions if you'll allow me.
Sounds good.
All right. So first question, I just want to know out of you three, because obviously Martin Cadell is going to be our new assistant AD for Scholar Athlete Wellness, and we're excited to get him to campus. But to get to know you three first, I got to ask, who's the most athletic of you three?
Probably Kelly.
My vote is Sean. Sean
I mean-
is a superstar.
Well,
Y'all never saw me hit BP the other day. It was not like- Hey, I hit it the third. That's all I wanted. I hit it the third.
Hey, does anybody have it on video?
No,
I don't think so.
don't think so. They were going to, but I don't think so.
And Kelly, your background's more volleyball?
Yeah, I played volleyball.
Mhm.
Okay, very good. All right. Well, who's the funniest?
The thing about athletic training is we all have a very severe level of sarcasm. So
Yeah.
I think we're all pretty funny.
Mhm. I would
I think
Yeah,
it
there-
depends on what situation it is.
Yeah.
Okay, who's the most sarcastic?
Sean.
Sean. Yeah.
I guess.
I guess. I like that. A sarcastic response to a sarcastic question. All right. So who's the most likely to go viral for doing something clumsy or embarrassing?
Kelly.
Probably Kelly.
Probably me.
Is it because it's already kind of happened?
Yeah.
Kelly, you want to share that story?
Queen. Yeah, I am notorious for filming TikToks and embarrassing videos in the training room with my athletes. So
No, I wasn't even going to go there. I mean, those are very entertaining, but I have to say the one that really cracked me up was you helping warm up Ashlyn Hansen to go in as a substitute goalie, and you accidentally hit her in the face.
that was not me. That was Cortland. I was sitting on the sideline.
Oh, gosh.
A very memorable moment. Or when I got stuck on top of the bleachers the other day. Love that.
Okay, we can't leave it at that. You got to tell that story.
Okay, one of our basketball players was making some fun shots, and it got stuck on top of the bleachers while they were pushed in. And she's injured, so I couldn't have her climb up the bleachers to get the ball. So I climbed up, being, the heroic person that I am. But I am really afraid of heights, so I could not come back down.
Oh,
And
It took a good few minutes before we could coax her back down.
yeah, it ended up being like half of the women's basketball team in there filming me on their phones crying at the top of the bleachers because I didn't want to come down.
oh no. Okay, enough of the Kelly Rose session. Sorry we had to go there.
Funny part is I didn't even know about that because I was over here.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't know, Sean.
We're just revealing things today.
Yeah.
All right, so I got to know who's on staff usually. I mean, all of you are very caring and nurturing, but who's the one that you would say is most likely to be somebody that you could lean on for serious situations and things like that.
Yeah, I think
Alli for sure.
I'd be too sarcastic.
Yeah. I come to her with all my problems.
Yeah.
As do I. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, Alli, you definitely seem like you have that personality. You're very good at that. All right. Well, while we're here, I know a lot of Scholar athletes are going to be watching this, so I've got to ask this question. What are your biggest pet peeves as an athletic trainer?
Probably when people say that they're going to come in and they don't actually show up to their appointments.
I'm not putting it on the athletes. I think when coaches don't tell you about schedule changes,
True. Yep, that's up there too.
if I show up to a 5 a.m. lift or practice and no one else is there, I am going to cry.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of coaches are watching this too. There you go.
Yeah.
I think the one that I've heard the most, because I've heard both of those too, but the one I've heard the most is the water bottles.
Oh, yeah.
Throwing
Yeah.
bottles.
Especially when the rack is 2 feet in front of you. Just put it back
Just put it back. Yeah.
Not far.
or hand it
Gotcha.
back to whoever gave it to you.
There you go. All right. Obviously, y'all have had some great moments since you've been here. What's been some of your favorite moments to be a part of, not only at McMurry or wherever you've been? Just one moment that sticks out to you that's happened in your career.
For me, probably would be the end of track season last season. Just getting all those kids through conference, obviously winning conference for both teams. And then, those that stuck around and we were able to go to the national meet and qualify. that was huge. And being a part of that in such, in that kind of a way was awesome.
Absolutely.
Mine's probably when I was an undergrad and I worked at Long Beach State and we won a national championship in men's volleyball.
Oh, wow. Are they in baseball? Are they the Dirtbags?
Yes, they are.
That's the best name outside of Warhawks. That's the best mascot name I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I love it. What about you, Sean?
For me, I mean, it's when I was working my master's, I was able to work with one of the top teams in wrestling. They were the number 2, number 3 team when I was working up there. So just getting that experience, plus going to the national tournament, seeing a couple of my guys win a championship, especially one of them who actually had a season-ending injury the year before, but then being able to watch him take runner-up, and then this year he was able to win the national championship.
Wow. Talk about the ultimate low to the ultimate high. That is, and that's what you guys get to experience front hand, and that's just awesome to me. All right. Well, let me ask you this. I like to ask this to everybody because I'm a foodie and I love to eat, as you can tell. But favorite home cooked meals?
Probably my mom's recipe of her meatloaf.
With the ketchup on
I
top?
would say.
It's a mixture of ketchup and A1.
A1. Let's go.
I'm not a meatloaf person. My mom's oven roasted chicken.
Ooh. Oven roasted chicken. She used some spices.
Yeah, it's like rosemary and other stuff.
That sounds pretty good. Do you need the sauce to go with it, or do you just eat it plain?
Plain.
That's awesome. Very good. All right, Sean?
So it's a little weird, but at Thanksgiving, we always had this thing called party potatoes, which was pretty much just hash brown casserole, but it was good.
Wow. Party
sounds
potato.
sounds like a lot more fun when you call it party potatoes.
Yeah. That's what we called it, was party potatoes, but it's like literally hash brown casserole, but it's amazing.
Ain't no potato like a party potato.
If it's not there at our family Thanksgiving, I get kind of sad. We all do.
Yeah, that's a little bit disappointing. And potatoes can come in a lot of different forms, but party potatoes are pretty hard to beat. Very good. All right, final question for you guys, because I know you got to get back to your teams and your responsibilities. But what is your favorite thing about McMurry?
Probably the community. Just how close we are as a department, and you really get to see everybody, all the sports teams, even if you're not working with them. You can really get to know everybody, and just that small atmosphere.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the close-knit athletic community here is something that just can't be beat. I get people walking by my office door all the time, just waving, saying, "Hi, Kelly," even when they're not my athletes, but I love it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I've only been here since August, but that small community is amazing. I mean, like Kelly said, you know literally everyone. Even if you don't know them, they know you somehow. Or if you forget their name or something like that, they'll know you.
That's incredible. Yep, that's that I would agree with that. I think everybody kind of knows everybody, and we're all supportive of each other. And again, like I said this earlier, you guys are the front porch of that, and obviously it's National Athletic Training Month in the month of March. So this month we celebrate you, but we also celebrate you guys year round, as y'all have one of the hardest jobs out there, but also one of the most rewarding experiences getting to be part of this. And I appreciate all three of you and all the contributions that you put into this athletic department, into our scholar athletes. So thank y'all for joining us today.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Well, fans, tune in next week for another episode of A Walk with the Warhawks. For these three awesome athletic trainers, Sean, Alli, and Kelly, I'm Mike Ezekiel. Have a great day.